So books are full of words. Some of them are very, very inspirational to read. Others teach you how to be an adult in your everyday life. Then there's the ones that play like a fantasy movie inside of your head, which is kind of crazy. And finally, there's a whole section on, yeah, you get the point. Anyways, the question is, what is the best way to read and consume books? Physically or digitally? How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a wonderful day today, because I know I am after consuming illegal amounts of caffeine. My name is Frank, and in this channel we talk about different ways in which we can optimize our lives for productivity, financial independence, and happiness. Now, in this video, I'm going to be sharing exactly what I think is the best way to read and consume books, so let's get started. So I want to start off by saying that in general, I do think physical books are superior to their digital counterparts, particularly if we're talking about a hardcover book, and people seem to agree with this. I held an Instagram poll and the results were just overwhelmingly people sided with the physical books. Now, I do have a few personal theories on why this is. First of all, there's something very special about just holding a physical book in your hands. Everything from the texture of the cover to the way the pages feel when you're flipping through them, it all adds to this ideal reading experience that I think we're all really looking for when we sit down with a book. In addition to that, there's this uniqueness factor that you get with a physical copy that you just don't see in a digital format. Every physical book is different from each other. In fact, I actually prefer my physical copies to have some sort of damage to them. Maybe like a little page tear here or some sort of damage to the hardcover, because it just makes it that much more unique to me. That's like my version of the book, and it's different from everyone else's version of that same book. This is very different from something like a Kindle where everyone has like the exact same digital file of that book. So it's not as intimate an experience or as personal an experience as you would get with a physical copy, where you see its scratches, you see its flaws, and that makes it more yours. In addition to that, with a physical book comes this whole other level of shopping experience that you just don't get with a Kindle. With a Kindle, you kind of just browse online to buy the thing. It's not much of an experience. All you do is you really just click a button and purchase, download it, and you're done. The alternative is that you can potentially go to a bookstore, spend like half an hour browsing through the bookshelves, and find things that you would have not found otherwise. And all of that adds to this intimate experience of having a physical copy of something. And then little by little, as you take books home, you actually start to curate your own little mini library. And I think that's really neat, because it's really nice to have a little corner of your house dedicated to reading. Maybe you have like a little bookshelf there and it's just filled with books that have been impactful to you. And I love that because, first of all, it makes me feel fancy to have a bookshelf filled with books. Second of all, it adds to the ambience of the room. It makes for this ideal reading setup that I think we're all really looking for, and it adds to that intimacy of when you actually just want to sit down and read something. So after saying all that, and basically admitting that physical books are and always will be king, why then did I switch to using a Kindle? And that has to do with MK, which does not stand for Michael Kors. It stands for my mistress of cleanliness, otherwise known as Marie Kondo. If you don't know who Marie Kondo is, she has a show on Netflix called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. And basically, she's this expert when it comes to cleaning and tidying around your home, therefore, mistress of cleanliness. After reading her book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and just binging through her Netflix series, where she actually goes to people's homes and tells them how to clean up their environment, I ended up getting rid of like 2/3 of my closet, all following her basic rule, which is that if something doesn't spark joy to you, then why keep it? And this makes sense, because I think it's much better to own like a few very, very valuable things that really speak to you, rather than a bunch of kind of valuable things that like you don't really care about, but you can't bring yourself to throw away. So how does this translate to books? And well, let's be honest, you're not gonna love everything that you read. I have limited bookshelf space, and just continuing to buy physical copies of books wasn't really doing it for me, because some of them actually didn't resonate with me all that much. And I wanted my bookshelf to be things that sparked joy and things that were really, really meaningful for me. So that's what drove me to buy my beautiful blue Kindle Paperwhite. And it's so much better than I thought it would be. First of all, there's literally no clutter, of course, because all of the books are now digital and they just download straight to my Kindle. And that makes it so that my room does not become a library. And while in theory it sounds like it would be a cool idea to have a bunch of books in your room and it would make you feel super fancy about yourself, I think that in practice it would be a pain in the butt to actually maintain all of that and clean it. Also, when I'm packing now, this is like a game changer, because I no longer have to think of space when thinking about what books I want to take with me, I'm always carrying my digital library, and this both saves packing space, mental energy, because I don't have to think about what I'm going to take with me since I'm taking everything with me, and is overall just super convenient having everything in one place. There are other benefits though, the primary one being that I can finally read at night without having an unnecessarily bright light on just so I can see the words on the page. I have pretty bad sleeping habits and I have a hard time falling asleep. And now what I've realized is that if I just read a little bit of fiction every night with the low brightness on, it's the equivalent of taking a bunch of melatonin pills to knock myself out. I can confidently say having this for the past few weeks has significantly improved my sleeping habits, and I am very happy with that. I can also buy whatever I want, whenever I want, as long as I have a Wi-Fi signal. And 2-day free shipping, let's be honest, it's 2021. That takes way too long. It is all about instant gratification. I click a few buttons and I have the book
immediately here at the palm of my hands.
But seriously, it's just really nice to be able to click a few buttons, instantly have the book download to your Kindle, and read it right then and there. Whereas with a physical copy, you would have to go to like a bookstore, see if they have it. Sometimes they don't have it in stock, and then you would have to buy it online and wait for it to get to your house in a few days. So it's really nice to just, like I said, click a few buttons, have the book immediately there, and just start reading. Not to mention that it's actually cheaper to have the digital file of most books as compared to their physical copy. So for example, the book series that I'm going through at the moment, the physical copy is $16 a piece, while the Kindle digital file is $7 a piece per each book. So it's literally less than half of the physical book. Now, for someone like me who has a fixed monthly budget for book spending, this just means that I can now read literally double the amount of books every single month without raising my monthly budget or spending more money. On the downside, since the Kindle is waterproof, I now have the bad habit of taking it into the shower with me, and whatever money I'm saving by buying the digital files instead of physical books is definitely just going down the drain. Now, saying all that, I do prefer physical copies of books. So my strategy going forwards, and what I recommend you do as well, is to keep only the books that really impacted you significantly in some way. Try to even get like the hardcover version of them to make it that much more special and keep that on your bookshelf. So for example, for me, that would be The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and The 5 Love Languages. Those are 3 examples of books that have significantly impacted my life in some way. So I will keep physical copies of those on my bookshelf so that I am reminded of the impacts that they've had and the ideas that they implanted in me. On the other hand, books like Shadow and Bone, Kevin O'Leary's biography, and 5 Feet Apart are examples of things that I currently have on my bookshelf, but I will be donating to a Goodwill at some point soon. Because while I did enjoy them, they weren't as impactful to me as they should be to earn a spot on that bookshelf. And all of this is basically gravitating around this idea that everything we own should be something that sparks joy in us or something that has heavily inspired us in some way. Personally, I think it's better to just go digitally for like 99% of things, and those that are really impactful to your life and those that inspire ideas within you, you should keep in some sort of hardcover format on your own curated bookshelf of things that inspire you and spark joy. Anything else should just be made digital to not clutter up your room and make your home that much more easy to clean. By the way, if you like this video and you're curious to see what app I use to track literally everything that I read, I do recommend checking out my other video on 5 apps I use to track my life. Besides that, do make sure to click that like button for the YouTube algorithm. In the description below, I'm going to leave some friendly links to social media and my blog, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I will catch you next time. Bye.